My name's Caroline. I am a single mum and have been for 13 years. 10 of those years I've been a carer to both my children who have got additional supported needs, as autism, ADHD, sensory processing, multi-language difficulties, the list goes on. Being a carer, I'm on carers allowance and also income support. That's my main income source. I also have child tax credits, and the children have got their DLAs because of their disabilities. But that's all the source of income that comes into the house. There's not enough money coming into the house that covers the expenditure, simple as that. I did a calculation of my gas and my electric, and a year ago I was paying a direct debit of £110. That direct debit now is £190. So that's an increase of 42% roughly, just on gas and electric on its own. And then I calculated my income support and my cares allowance, and last year compared to this year is only an increase of 3%, which is why it's very difficult to find money for anything else, whether it be treats or even just the basic, the weekly shopping. There is no money to pay for the weekly shopping. It has to go into the credit card. There's no other way of coping apart from using overdrafts and credit cards. Well, every day you've got to think what you're needing to buy. Because of the children's additional needs, their autism and their sensory, they won't eat anything off at any supermarket shelf. It has to be a certain type of beans, certain type of pasta, certain flavour of tomato sauce. It has to be very specific. So I have no other choice but to go and put money, spend money for food that I know that they will eat, and it has to be put onto the credit card. I cannot go to a food bank because the food that they would be able to offer wouldn't be suitable. I also have intolerances, so I can't eat anything. I have to eat certain things. So unfortunately, I have to just keep getting by with the means I've got and using credit cards and overdrafts to the best of my ability without going overboard, just so we can live with the gas and electric and the roof over our heads and having food that the kids will eat because of their sensory and autism preferences. I consider myself to be very financially savvy. I left school when I was 16, straight into local government, NHS, the local police as a civilian, office-based. I had full-time jobs, I've had mortgages, car loans, personal loans. I know how to manage these. So to go from that life to suddenly being a single parent and then a carer and realising you're having to live on a tiny little amount each week, it was difficult. It's like a shadow. It's just hanging over you and you just can't get away from it. And that's a difficulty thing right now of what do I do with this £70 of shopping? Do I go into my overdraft? Do I go into my credit card? Well, I can't go into my overdraft because that's now maxed out. I'll need to stick it on my credit card. But what I've already just put on my credit card is on my credit card, and that'll be starting to gain interest. So that is hanging over me, thinking, when am I ever going to get to the end of that credit card? I might never get to the end of that credit card, but there's no other option. I have to use it. It has to be there because there's no other way of me buying the shopping. And the kids need food, and I need food. I just got to do what you got to do. Because my job is to give them what they need and to look after them to the best of my ability, which sometimes can be financially impacted because there is not enough money coming into the house to give them what they need. The days out, the experience of what they're interested in, like going to the arcade in Arbroath or going to Perth, to the shops up in Perth, all that adds up in money. And if you don't have that, then you start feeling like you start feeling guilty. You start feeling guilty because you can't provide for your kids. And if you can't provide for your kids, it's an awful situation. It's a roundabout. You go round and round thinking, have I got enough money to do this? But the kids need it. And you do anyway. Which means you end up, as a person, don't get what you may want. And I believe that my carer's allowance is for me to look after myself so I am able to care for my kids. But if my money is being used on gas and electric and food, how can I look after myself? Because there's no money spare or saved at all in the house, then if the washing machine was to break, it can't get fixed. The oven currently is not working properly. It's taking far too long to heat up on the hob, which is obviously causing me to spend more money on my electric, so I've stopped using the oven. So at the moment we're just using the microwave for everything. I do worry that if anything else in the house does go wrong, there is no money there to pay for it. My son, his bed broke before Christmas time, and I was very, very fortunate that I've managed to get funding through the Dundee Carer Centre Winter Assistance Scheme, and they've provided me money so we can get a new mattress. The thing is, it's very difficult to find sources of information unless you're told about it. And that has been throughout my whole 10 years of being a carer, 13 years being a single mum. I have had to go hunting for the information. It's never been there. Even when the kids got their diagnosis, I had to hunt for information on support groups and this, that, the next thing. It's never given to you. And it's the same situation now. You're spending so much energy and emotion. It's tiring. You just have to get on with it. That doesn't help the mental health. That doesn't help my well-being. Worrying, sick. Can I afford it this week? But thinking, why have I got to this stage in the first place? I shouldn't be in this situation. I shouldn't be having to, something's got to give at some point in time. And it's very hard when you've got all the responsibility. It's very hard for me not to break down. The thing that's got to give, it cannot be me. I am keeping everything together. I've got to be there for the kids. There's nobody else there to look after the kids. And if you're worrying so much on how you're going to put food on the table that night, then you've missed out on what they are doing during the day. It's a very, very difficult way to live. For managing debt, I think there needs to be more awareness of what resources are out there. Who's got the purse string? Who can you go to if you're needing a new mattress for your son? Or I'm needing a new oven or a washing machine, or there'll be somebody out there who something is broken right now, even a kettle. And they may not have that £20 or whatever to go to Argos or to get a new kettle. A lot of the time you just need somebody to hold your hand and do the job for you. And I may be able to do research and signposting, but sometimes I just need somebody to fill in that form for me, or somebody to pick up the phone and say, I've got a mum here that's needing a new oven, what can you offer? I need aberlour to help me to put a name on a forum. If it wasn't for aberlour, I wouldn't be able to have got my son's mattress through the carer centre. It needs to be a multi-agency overview of everything, of the current debt situation, how it affects an individual, how it affects the children, how it affects society. And I am part of that society who's perhaps looked down upon. We're just on benefits. We're scrounging off the estate. I am more than that. I've come from stuff and lost it. And I want to get back to being not relying on the state. I won't be in this forever. I will not be on benefits forever. This is a part of my life that I have to be on to support the kids until they are ready to go off into the world. Then I'll be able to finish off my degree and get a good job and get my life. But until that happens, I have to live on the state and have to worry about the money is not enough to cover living.